Okay, hey, hi, hello, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Yes, it's me. As you know, on this channel, we've been doing a series of videos where I go over the top 10 songs according to the Billboard Hot 100 in a given year, and I tier them out from S to F. This year, it is the wonderful and amazing 2007. God, the things that happened that year. I completed all my college credits and finally got all done with that freaking crap. Sadly, because of everything I had going on during that time, I was a little checked out as far as like mainstream and even underground stuff to a degree, because I thought, hey, I'm gonna leave college and become a reporter and work for NPR. And that's like my plan, and that's what I'm going to do. Or I'm going to, like, do production and stuff behind the scenes, and no reason to worry about music anymore. I'm done with that. I'm not going to be having anything else to do with music. And look how that turned out. But yeah, it was fun going back and listening to a lot of these tracks, getting kind of a refresher on many of these songs that kind of played more in the background than the foreground for me at the time. But yeah, let's do it to it. Bam! At number 10, we have Fergie with Glamorous. Yes, Fergie of the Black Eyed Peas was having quite the solo commercial run as of this point. A lot of you guys might recognize this track as a Jack Harlow cover. But yeah, obviously this song has been in discussions as of late because Jack interpolated it on a very awful track from his latest full-length album. But Glamorous, I could get why he would want to pull from it, because there are a lot of likable and respectable qualities about the song overall. The glossy instrumentation definitely lives up to the title of the song. The chorus stands out as well, but there are a few things about the track I'm not crazy about. For sure, we could have had a Glamorous cut with a little bit more of a pulse, especially with a ludicrous rap feature on it. Again, I think there are some interesting ideas, and I think the tune on the chorus, at the core of this thing, very good, fine, cool, memorable, but everything else about the track I can really take or leave. The verses, the very thin and washed out production, sounds kind of dated at this point as well, honestly. I'm feeling a C tier on this one. Boom. All right, next on the list at number 9, we have Nelly Furtado, Say It Right. Another hit that was produced by the man Timbaland. And we talked a bit about Timbaland and Nelly's work in the last video, how I was maybe slightly underwhelmed by it. However, not the case with this track. This may in fact be my favorite Nelly Furtado hit. Timbaland goes crazy with the beat on this thing. The chord progression is sick too, but it's really Nelly's vocal leads that sell the track, from the super catchy verses to the addictive choruses. Oh, you don't mean nothing at all to me. Damn! They put crack in this damn song. In the day, in the night. Like, every melody that passes through her lips on this track is fire and just instantaneously catchy. And while the production does run a little thin, as a lot of pop anthems did sonically during this era, it's not as heavy, it's not as lush as a lot of what we hear these days. It's still very glossy, it's still very pretty to listen to. The arrangements and the keys and the synths are quite nice. It kind of creates an interesting vibe where the song is hitting hard, it's popping off like a pop song should, but simultaneously it's really dreamy and heavenly and kind of idyllic in a way. I would put this track very firmly in the A. Whoa. Yeah, you don't mean nothing at all to me. Okay, next at number 8 on the list, we have Akon's I Wanna Love You, which, real ones know is actually titled I Wanna Fuck You. I wanna fuck you. Fuck you, you already know. Like, goddamn. Another amazing pop melody from the 2000s. Honestly, the track is just so pretty and groovy and sensual, but lyrically just so over the fucking top. Plus the Snoop Dogg feature on it is pretty good. I think, kind of the archetype for many of his pop rap features, and one of his better ones in that vibe, in that lane. Akon's voice is just very light and buttery and sweet. There's not really a lot about this track I don't like. I still have fond memories of hearing this cut played around on the radio and in various contexts. It was just catchy as hell and just just a, just an anthem, just a nice between the sheets type of anthem. We'll put it in the A tier as well. Okay, next in the list, we have, you know him, you love him. It's the Plain White Tees with Hey There, Delilah, yeah. Sorry, I'm roasting it a little bit. Look, I mean, is this track a little corny? Is it kind of insipid? Yes, it is, but it's still a very heartfelt and endearing ballad. I will say that. I think the writing is cute. I think the melody sticks. I think the structure is good as well. I like how bare and raw and intimate it is. I certainly enjoy it more than, other ballads we've talked about in this series so far, like You're beautiful, you had a bad day. That's bullshit. Hey There, Delilah. I kind of mess a little bit with Hey There, Delilah. The one thing I don't really like about the track all that much is I find the finger picking pattern on the guitar to be kind of crap. But even with that being the case, the vocals and the chord progression, solid. The melodies, solid. Again, slightly corny. And as far as singing in kind of a rock or a singer-songwriter style, not totally my cup of tea, but I think Hey There, Delilah is a somewhat respectable ballad. We could put it in B. Next on the list, we have Carrie Underwood with Before He Cheats. Now, previously in this series, we have had a lot of top 10 country singles pop up here and there hasn't really been a lot of love for the country hits, mostly because in a lot of cases, they are badly performed, they are overproduced, they're corny as hell. But Carrie Underwood's Before He Cheats is a huge, fat, gigantic exception. This song is amazing. The melodies, the chord progression, the song structure, the dynamic instrumentation, how we sort of swell and fall from the sultry verses to the fiery, angry, and passionate choruses. The vocal performance is amazing. And goddamn, man, the lyrics. I dug my key into the side of his pretty little souped-up four-wheel drive. She's so angry. She's throwing the baseball bat through the headlights. It's a bop, man. It's a banger. It's one of the best mainstream country bangers of all time, and I grew up during the 90s when there were a lot of really good mainstream country bops on the radio. Over here, digging deep into the 2000s, I thought that, time was kind of over, but Carrie Underwood brought it back with this just fantastic infidelity rager. Just timeless songwriting, vocal performance, everything. Even the production on the track I found to be pretty good. I'm putting it in the S tier. Hell yeah. Okay, next we have Mr. T-Pain with Buy You a Drink. Shouty snappin' with Young Jock. The auto-tune on this track, in my opinion, is a bit much. The instrumental runs kind of thin, which I'm not crazy about. But the tune at the core of it is really good. And look, I'll rate it this way. I think this version over here is decent. It's fine, but if we're talking the Kanye feature version, I'm actually liking it a little bit more. I like Kanye's feature on his version quite a bit, and I think it kind of improves the quality of the track overall. So I throw down on the Kanye version of this track, truly and honestly. We can put that in the B tier. Okay, and further proving that 2007 was really Fergie's year, we also have her track, Big Girls Don't Cry, which I actually think has one of the most standout choruses of any Fergie song. But as we have discussed before, with some singles here and there in this series, I think this track happens to suffer from boring verse syndrome. The verses instrumentally are really thin, there's not a lot of meat to bite on, and vocally, as far as melody goes, it just kind of seems like Fergie doesn't know where to go, what to do, what exactly to hit as far as a melodic run, and we're just kind of sitting there and waiting and hanging there and just, getting more and more bored until we finally get hit with the goddamn chorus, which again is great, is fantastic, is good, but there's not really a lot about the track that is great outside of that hook. I gotta put this in the C tier, frankly. Okay, next, we have the Sweet Escape Miss Gwen Stefani, still in the midst of a very impressive solo run at this point. During this year. The song features Akon, of course. I'll say this, the production on this track, especially during the intro and, kind of those passages of, woo! Woo! is just maybe a little too clean, a little too overdone. But once we move past that point, the song at the core of this thing is actually great, is actually good. I actually like the throwback chord progressions and vocal melodies on the chorus. Really kind of makes Gwen feel like, even though the song sounds aesthetically very modern, is in touch with a very classic and very kind of, vintage and tried and true brand of pop here. If I could escape and recreate a place as my own world. It's so damn cute. I like the Akon feature on the track as well. This is easily one of my favorite Gwen hits. We are going to put it in the A tier. Okay, we have a few more left over here. We've got Rihanna Umbrella featuring Jay-Z, which I'm not as crazy about as I would like to be, honestly. This is not really my favorite era of Rihanna singles. I'm not as Umbrella, Shut Up and Drive, and Don't Stop the Music. I'm a bit more Rude Boy, S&M, Only Girl in the World. That era hits for me quite a bit harder. This, what we have over here, while I think the melodies are solid and the Jay-Z verse is pretty good, Rihanna vocally is still kind of coming into her own, in my opinion, and also the instrumental sounds super basic, in my opinion. The melody isn't even that stunning. I mean, outside of the very interesting way that Rihanna pronounces umbrella on this track, there's not a lot about it that sticks to me as being supremely memorable. But it's fine. It's likable. It's a respectable track. I'd put it in the B tier as well. And finally, we have Beyonce's Irreplaceable, one of the biggest tracks from her B-Day era, going to engage in a little bit of sacrilege here, but I'm not really crazy about this track. This is not one of my favorite Beyonce singles, nor is it my favorite single from this record. I much preferred the Jay-Z appearance and the much groovier, bassier beat on Deja Vu. To me, the super thin production and acoustics on the instrumental, just everything being as washed out as it is in the mix, it just makes the song sound kind of flat. If we're comparing album to album, I'm much more into the Sasha Fierce era if we're talking strictly about 2000s stuff. That, to me, is much more defining, and Irreplaceable, sounding as, kind of flat and plain and as basic as it does in some respects, is, again, kind of proof that Beyonce had much more interesting things coming down the pipe. The track vocally is really impressive. I think that's, kind of the best thing the song brings to the table. Beyonce's vocals are freaking fire. It's just everything else about the song that doesn't impress quite as much. I'm feeling like I'd put this one in the C tier as well. Not awful, not offensively bad or anything like that, but lacking in multiple ways. And that's it for 2007. Kind of an interesting grouping. Not as many bangers as some years, but not really any awful duds either. Pretty solid year for hits all around, I'd say. But let me know what you think of these tracks down in the comments. Love them, hate them. Look forward to 2008 next. Over here next to my head, it's another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, 2007, forever.